Hey, what's up everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this video we are taking another look at the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Son Gohan or Son Gohan SDCC exclusive, which is the anime accurate colors. And I know some of you are probably thinking to yourself, or even maybe saying out loud, hey, you've already reviewed that. You probably won't stutter when you say that, but it's true, I have. But it was almost 2 years ago now, I think, and I think a lot of people might have missed it. A lot of the newer subscribers might have missed it, and we have some pretty important Dragon Ball Z figures coming out, and I've had people ask me to take a look back at some of the figures I reviewed a while ago. So this is the first of those. So if you don't want to watch it, I apologize that I've re-reviewed it, but if you do, then I encourage you to do so, and I thank you for watching. Okay, so like I said, this is the SDCC exclusive. I'm not going to re-review the normal one because I have reviewed that fairly recently, and I only want to look at the anime accurate color version anyway, so that's fine by me. Now, Gohan is in scale with Goku. I'll show you that when the new Goku comes out, because he should be out any day now in the States officially, and then I'll just look at that there. Even though it's not going to be the Super Saiyan. So to the top of his head, he's about 4.5 inches tall. To the top of his hair, he's about 5 1/4, almost 5 1/2. So he's pretty well scaled. It is kind of a small figure if you're used to things like Marvel Legends or DC Universe Classics, but I'm telling you what, you get your money's worth with these SH Figuarts. I absolutely love them. When you go from 2D animation or manga to 3D plastic, you lose a little bit usually. These guys generally don't do that. They just look fantastic, and I don't think I've ever met anybody that said, hey, I don't really care for those too much. So there is that. The only bad thing I'm going to point out about this guy, that's actually a bad thing, is somehow from the normal release to the SDCC one, the left arm, every once in a while as you're posing it, if you turn this part of the arm comes out, and that's because this ball peg you see right here, that goes through the bicep and up into the shoulder, and somehow they didn't make it fit quite right, so when you swivel that bicep, that pops out, and you can't really glue that in because then it wouldn't allow for the swivel. So it's kind of an issue, but if you're careful, you shouldn't have too much trouble. Okay, let's look at what he comes with. First off, we have two different heads with all interchangeable faces, but the heads are mainly for the hair. We have the Super Saiyan, and then we have the Super Saiyan 2. So that's very nice. It's great to have the options. I do appreciate that a lot. And then we also have a total of 6 different heads. So we have the kind of grimacy face right there. Then we have the a little bit more angry grimace face with the teeth showing, which is a really nice face job. I don't know if that's a thing. Sculpt job. I really like that. And then I'd like to point out they did put the little black lines in there to give them the detail, to make them look a little more show accurate, so that's really nice. It looks good. And then we also have more faces. We have the looking up to the left with your mouth open face. We have the smiley face that would most appropriately go with the Super Saiyan 1 hair. We have the smirking face. And then we have the looking up to the left with your mouth closed face. So lots of different options. We do have some different hand options. We have a fist for either side. We also have, remember, use your trusty knife or something like that to get the pieces out more easily from the tray. We have your two kind of clenched hands, clenched open hands, which are great for all kinds of different posing options, but probably mostly a Kamehameha wave or a Masenko. And then we have just some more option hands, which I'm not sure if these go to anything particular. Maybe those are Masenko. I don't remember anymore. But we have these hands, which I remember him using in the show, but I don't remember particularly what they're for. It's been a while since I've watched it, but that's what we have for the hands. Then lastly, in terms of accessories, we have his cape to make him look like he's wearing the Piccolo outfit that he wears. It's nicely sculpted. It's got really great lines. It looks like cloth drooped over the shoulder armor, which is awesome. And then it's got the shading throughout as well. So that's really cool. It's all bunched up. All one piece. It will hinder articulation a little bit just because it has to go over the shoulders. But it's really worth it if you're looking to get a pose with that done, or with that on. You can get that done. And because it just looks so good. It looks perfect with him in that little cape thing, that cape accessory. So you can still move the arms around a fair amount, just nothing to the side really, and it is limited forward a little bit, but it looks great. Okay, let's take a look at the figure itself, and then we'll call it a wrap. So the head just pops on, standard ball peg for the head itself. The ball peg is actually connected to a ball hinge, so you can swivel that around to get any articulation you need. The neck is articulated. I believe it's just a single ball peg. Don't expect to get a whole lot of range of motion out of that though. It will help, but it's not that much of a help. Excuse me. Still trying to get over a cold here, so I apologize for that. We have a ball peg for the shoulder, which moves around in the torso. There goes that arm again. That is frustrating. So that moves around in the torso, and then that's actually a ball hinge on the shoulder itself. You can see the hinge in there. So really good range of motion for that. The sleeve of the shirt is actually a ball peg in the back of the shoulder, so that allows for you to hide the articulation pretty much however you pose him. You can get that shirt to make it look pretty good. Obviously it's not connected all the way around, but it's quite helpful. We do have that swivel I told you about at the bicep, single jointed elbow if that doesn't pop out. You get slightly better than 90 degrees, though really nice sculpt work. I do like the way they have the muscles sculpted on him. The wrists are just like the neck in that they are ball hinges, so you can spin that around, use the hinge, and then it's just a ball peg that snaps into the hand. So that's pretty good. We have, let's see if I can open that up a little bit. You see that cylinder in there that houses a ball peg that also goes down into the crotch piece, so it's a double ball peg for the torso, so full range of motion in terms of leaning. You can push that down to make it look good, pop it up to give yourself a little bit more range of motion, so that's pretty nice. Full swivel, the belt's a separate piece, so really effective joint there. Could he have a better ab crunch? Yes, it doesn't work that well, but it does work fairly well, so I'm okay with it. The hips, they are pivoting ball hinges, and what that is, it's just a ball peg, or pivoting ball pegs, I'm sorry. So it's a ball peg for the hip, and then it can drop down. There's just a hinge in there that lets the ball peg drop down, and the reason you can do that is so that you can bring the leg up higher and get the full range of motion, or bring it all the way out to the side. So it's really helpful in terms of posing, and when you don't want to use it, just push it back up, and it's really nicely done. I do appreciate that in these figures. So that's just a ball peg on that hip socket, and then the thigh can swivel around that. So really nice range of motion in the hips. The knees are double jointed. Some people don't like the way they look. I personally don't mind. You can really get good range of motion out of them. I think I prefer the more modern design where they use the kneecap like on Trunks and Krillin, but even like this, it's a little bit ugly directly dead on, but it's not horrible, and the range of motion is worth it. So it's something you can live with, and you'll learn to live with it really quickly. The ankles do not have the greatest range of motion. It's just a double ball peg, but the sculpt and the design just give them that much motion. They're really limited. Swivel, sure, but side to side, not so much. They do have a toe joint, a toe hinge, so that is pretty nice. As you can see, there's shading throughout the purple, shading throughout the skin, shading on the blue wristbands, shading on the boots, and then they painted in the lines on the boots as well, so that's really cool. I don't think there's any shading on the belt. It looks like there may not be, but it doesn't really stand out because it has really deep sculpting, so it casts shadows and it looks just fine. So that's pretty much the rundown for Gohan. I think it looks in the camera, it might look for you guys that the crotch piece is a lot lighter than the other pieces. That's just probably because it's a different material and it's catching the light differently for the camera. In person, it's not very noticeable at all, so don't worry about that. If you like Gohan, if you like Dragon Ball Z, this is definitely a figure to look for. Again, if you like the anime colors, you need to go SDCC. If you don't care about the colors, then the manga one's the way to go. As of right now, I don't know which one's more valuable on eBay, so you're gonna have to look that up yourself. None of them are available at retail currently, unless they get a reissue pretty soon. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.